So let's get you more on this now, on the Katiso Molefe saga. We speak to Attorney Tumelo Vana, who joins us now. Thank you so much for your time on the program, Mr. Vana. Perhaps let's start here. There are many concerns that have been raised across the board and about this particular case. Tell us, what factors does a court consider in cases like this? And is there an open window for the prosecution to appeal this decision?
Good morning, sir. I hope you're doing well. Now, when the court has to make a decision regarding bail, it has to consider, the most important element that the court has to consider is if the applicant of a bail is a flight risk. Now, remember, the presumption of innocence is still a ruling factor. So far, the state has to go through trial to prove if indeed the allegations against the accused are, or rather they have to prove it beyond a reasonable doubt. So bail is not punitive in nature. It's not supposed to be treated as a punishment. It's supposed to ensure that the applicant attends a trial. So as things stand, he still enjoys the privilege to be presumed innocent until the contrary is proven. So usually the state in such instances, they will oppose bail, but for them to oppose bail, they should have reasons to do that. Remember now, the accused, he is only accused of having committed the alleged offense. It has not yet been proven beyond a reasonable doubt. So now, if he can prove that it's not a flight risk, the court has to take into account or put in place the restrictions that will ensure that he does not evade trial, which in this case, they have requested a large amount of money from him, which is 400,000. They have put in restrictions that he should be within the jurisdiction of Gauteng province, and he should regularly report to the police station 3 times, I think, a week. You understand? So far, he should enjoy the privilege of being presumed innocent, then until the contrary is proven. For now, we are dealing with an innocent person who is only accused for having committed an alleged offense.
And we will get into the modalities of the bail itself as we continue with the conversation, Mr. Vana. And, given those bail conditions that you talk about now, for example, they're reporting to the police station about 3 times a week. Just what message might the court be sending about balancing the presumption of innocence with public interest, for instance?
Okay. To balance the two, now remember, now we're dealing with a person who is still presumed innocent. So to ensure that the accused does not evade trial, they have to put into place such strict measures to ensure that he actually does attend his trial. Remember now, there is a time where he will have to prove his case, or rather the state will have to prove his case. For now, remember now, my brother, he is accused, this guy. It's not that he is proven to have done those alleged offense. So for public interest, now the court, it has to send a strong message also to everyone, or rather to the state, that just because of a person has or is accused of doing something, it does not mean that they have done that particular thing. They also have to consider his right to liberty, which in this case, his right to liberty is more important than anything. Yes, sir.
And I like that you keep referring to, the being, presumed innocent until, proven otherwise. I want us to now also delve into the modalities of the bail conditions that you just mentioned a bit earlier on. I mean, 400,000 rands is quite a substantial bail amount. What does that suggest about the seriousness of the charges or the court's assessment of flight risk, as you also mentioned a bit earlier on in the conversation? And just how will all his travel between Gauteng and Welkom be monitored? How does that usually play out?
Usually, well, the reason why the court will impose, especially such a significant amount of money, is probably the court will be concerned about him losing that money. Remember now, if the conditions of bail will be given, now should you violate those conditions, you may forfeit the money that you have paid for bail. The court you can forfeit that money to the state. And also to monitor his travelings. Remember that it said that he can also travel, but on condition and with liaison with the investigating officer to welcome, I assume. So to restrict his movement, he has to account to the investigating officer who is now in charge of investigating the case that is being proffered against him. So to mitigate that, the court now takes a lot of money from him. Losing that money will mean a lot to him. So to protect his money and to also protect the fact that he is innocent at this present moment. So for the state to oppose bail, they should actually have grounds. They should prove that the applicant is a flight risk. So any person is entitled to bail, and it's a right to bail. Every person is entitled to bail, unless the state can prove that the said person is a flight risk. So to mitigate that, they also took away his passport. I believe one of the conditions is that he had to submit his passport to the state so that he does not evade or rather not to make other traveling documents pending the finalization of this case. So the court is trying to do anything to ensure that the state is in a position of also doing their job and at the same time protecting the accused right to liberty. So the court has to balance the two.
And from your experience, just what kind of precedent or signal might this case set, perhaps for other high-profile business or corruption-related cases, as we are currently at this moment seeing the wheels of justice grind?
I didn't get you. Can you rephrase the question?
Let's talk about the precedent as well as what kind of a signal might this case set for other business-related and corruption-related cases such as this one. What sort of precedent is this one setting?
Well, it does. Remember now, it might impose those restrictions as saying that, okay, for pending your matter or pending the finalization of this case, sending a message to any person who might, remember now, we cannot say what message can it send to people who are accused. This person, so far, he's accused. And an accused person is not a guilty person. So for us to assume that the bail conditions are there to send a message to people who are accused, it will not make sense to say, no, this is about sending a message to the public or to anyone, for that matter.
All right. I must thank you so much for your insights. That was Tumelo Vana providing expert analysis on the Katiso Molefe bail ruling and its implications for the justice system. Thanks very much indeed for your time.